Hello, everybody. Today we're here for episode 6 of my course, How Writers Become Authors, a step-by-step guide to crafting your novel. Last week, we did an overview of structure, including the introduction, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into your novel's introduction. And if you want an ultra, mega, super deep dive into the writing process, check out my writing craft books, Shut Up and Write the Book, as well as How to Write Romantasy. But for now, let's tackle the beginning of your shiny new book. As we covered in our previous episode, the beginning of your book usually includes 3 main parts: meeting the main character, introducing their problem, and the inciting incident. Usually in that order. 9 times out of 10, the first chapter of your novel needs to follow the main character. If you have more than one main character, then the first chapter needs to follow whichever main character experiences a problem that kicks off the plot. For example, say you have 3 main characters and the conflict revolves around an evil genie intent on destroying the world. Your first chapter should follow the main character who accidentally awakens this genie from their eternal slumber, thus kicking off the story. But Jenna, my book starts off 20 years before the story even begins, or it follows the villain's point of view. You can totally open a book this way, but usually this type of intro would be a prologue. Prologues are designed either to open a book in a different time frame from the main story or following a different character, but the first chapter is almost always going to follow one of the main characters. Readers use the first chapter to get grounded in the story, and you don't want them to get grounded in the wrong point of view and the wrong voice. It's totally fine to include an introduction that follows, for example, the main character's grandfather from 50 years ago. Just make it a prologue. That way readers understand that maybe they shouldn't get attached. Now that we've established the main character, it's time to establish their problem. Usually the MC is dealing with some kind of difficulty in their life. It could be something as extreme as a zombie apocalypse or something as minor as working a job that they hate. This is almost always established in the very first chapter. As we covered in the previous episode, sometimes the introduction introduces a goal. The main character is vying for a promotion at work, or they want to win prom queen. It's possible that this will be the focus of your novel's introduction, but at some point in the story, you'll probably need to reveal some type of problem or negative situation that has provoked this goal to exist in the first place. Say your main character will stop at nothing to become class president, and that's what your first chapter is focused on. This is her goal, and she's willing to become cutthroat to make this happen. However, throughout the novel, it's revealed that she comes from an emotionally abusive family. They're constantly putting her down and telling her that she'll never be good enough or she'll never amount to anything. This is her motivation for becoming class president. She needs to aspire towards something at school because at home, she's nobody. You may not introduce this problem in the introduction of your novel, but it's a good idea to have it in mind for the rising action. That way, as the novel progresses, you can start to drop breadcrumbs exposing your main character's problem and motivation. Lastly, we have the inciting incident, which is the event that causes the main character to take action toward their problem. Using the last example, the inciting incident could be the moment that the main character puts in her application to be class president. Your main character has a problem or goal and they decide to do something about it. In my book, The Savior's Champion, Tobias's problem is that his family is poor and they can't afford to take care of his sister's chronic pain condition. The inciting incident is when Tobias decides to enter a deadly tournament because everyone who is accepted into this tournament receives a buttload of money, more than enough money to take care of his ill sister. It's possible that your main character doesn't take action toward their problem, either because they're not in a position to do so, or they have no idea they've got a problem at all. Sometimes the problem is they're being followed and they don't know it, or they possess magic that they're completely unaware of. There are also countless stories where the inciting incident is the main character being kidnapped or abducted, and that's okay. The job of the inciting incident is to set the plot into motion. If the point of your novel is for the main character to try to escape their captor, then it makes sense that the inciting incident is the moment they're captured. Now, depending on the genre you're writing, there might be bits and bobs that you need to add to your introduction. For example, if you're writing a romance or any subgenre of romance like romantasy, you might need to add a meet cute to your introduction. This is the moment the main character and their love interest finally meet, either for the first time or just for the first time in your story. But often, these additives can be included with other steps within your introduction. For example, the meet cute can be introduced at the same time as your main character's problem. Maybe the main character is running for class president, and so is their rival, who happens to be their love interest. You could also include the meet cute with the inciting incident. Maybe the inciting incident is an arranged marriage, which also happens to be the moment that the main character meets their love interest, aka their arranged spouse. Again, these bits and bobs will depend on the genre, and I can't list every bit and bob for every genre because I don't know every bit and bob for every genre. It's up to you to research your genre and get an understanding of what you need to feature to meet genre expectations. So that's all I got for you today. Writing an introduction can be very overwhelming, but relax, take a deep breath, and focus on these 3 key elements. And if you need any extra help, I've got a worksheet in the description below. The Savior's Army is officially available, so if you like romantasy and you want to read the first 3 books in my award-winning romantasy adventure, definitely check it out. It's linked below. I've also got 2 writing craft books available, Shut Up and Write the Book and How to Write Romantasy. They are super helpful if you are trying to write your very own novel. They're also linked below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays and I host live streams on Mondays. And if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, ring that bell. Bye!
This is Wimbledon. If you haven't subscribed to Jenna's channel, then by all means, go for it. The people will love you for it. Go on, press the button, ding that bell. See you soon.